Hello! Hi! And welcome back to our blind read-through of Your Lie in April, 2236 AD. The last time we were together, we saw credits. We saw what, on the surface anyway, felt like a pretty conclusive ending. Yotsuba sorted out his shit and found his way back to reality, and he reunited with Haru, and for the most part, it, like I said, on the surface, felt like a solid little ending once the credits rolled. Or so we thought. There were definitely some things lingering. But then I remembered that back at the archive, there was a two-way decision that we had to make. But at the time, we were only able to pick one choice. So beyond there being lots of game left for us to get through, I don't know what that entails. The implications seem kind of crazy if we're going to go about undoing what we did in sort of instrumentality and stuff, because I think all of that stuff is very important to Yotsuba's character. So I don't know how this game handles reality. Since that ending was forced on me, there are very well things that he may be able to continue holding on to from that version of the world and maybe send to himself in mentality world or whatever. But that all just remains to be seen. Before we get started, I actually want to give a shout out to someone. I want to drop a quick shout out to the Tomaten Toaster, who, along with just being really supportive and excited about this video series, is probably the reason these videos are even still being uploaded. When I first started releasing the series, YouTube kept reprivating the videos due to some kind of nebulous community violation that they would not tell me what it was, but they would just say, hey, you can't put these back up. And long story short, he got in touch with me via Twitter, and just by chance, from a screenshot that I had posted of information on some of the videos, he was able to kind of figure out what is getting the videos blammoed, and here we are. So everyone go give a follow to our tomatoey, toastery friend, who also has some pretty awesome taste in media. Just has us we have a lot in common in terms of general interests. So thank you again, our tomatoey pal, our toastery friend, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the series, because again, it is thanks to you that we are here. So with that in mind, and it being 7 o'clock in the morning where I'm at, so I'm waking up at the ass crack of dawn to do this, and hopefully my reading brain is fully engaged. We are going to jump back to the archive, and we can now pursue our second path to not go see Haru Shion, which, again, a lot of implications of us, I guess, just staying here. But if I had to guess, I think we're going to start getting some stuff on our girl Hime now, because she's kind of an enigma. She's a weird one, so I have to think that this is where we're going to start maybe diving into her a little bit, because I guess in the end, really don't know a whole lot about what's making her tick, so maybe we'll find something in there. No good. I can't make a decision. Going off that, the fact that I can't make up my mind, it's probably for the best I don't go. To be continued. Hime fades. Well, that's ominous. And also indicative of, hey, guess what? This is a character route. I don't have the courage to transcend aspects at all. That's okay. I think that transcending aspects of a world is, that sounds a bit daunting. I think that that's something you're allowed to be afraid of. Nobody's going to call you a pussy for that. Huh? That is your decision, isn't it? Yes, ma'am. And here you were acting all happy before. The final message makes it sound like they don't have any interest, so you're chickening out? That's not... It is, isn't it? Maybe, or maybe not. No need to make such a gloomy face. If you want to go home, I will let you return home. What will you do? I'll stay here for a little while longer. Why am I deciding to stay here, I wonder? And here I thought I had nothing else to do here. Well, I pretty much have a rough idea myself. It's Hime-senpai. I lost any idea of where I should be going, so I've been getting her to show me some sort of way. With Masuko gone, I've dropped a lot of the front I had before. I'm slightly pulled in by my own insignificance. Welcome to my everyday life. Senpai has stopped any kind of walking around the archive ever since we've had a taste of the terror associated with losing our concept of time, making the beds she woke up in lying down in her making the beds that she woke up lying down in her base point. That is a very hard thing to read. She reads and stops reading any books from the Akashic phone her hands can reach. She's lost the sparkle in her eyes she had when she first came here. Oh my, it's the doctor. Good day. The only exception to this is when Senpai talks to the doctor, at which time she seems to much more lively. Well, I mean, it's CS. Look at her. She's gorgeous. She's the perfect woman. Dressed in the perfect attire. You tell me you're not salivating over a woman in a lab coat. What can I help you with this time? No help will help. Huh? I don't have very much to do at the moment, so I came here since I'm bored. I see then. Care for some tea? My pleasure. You too? Huh? Oh, right, yes, I guess I am still here. The doctor disappears off to somewhere, just like the time she brought us both onigiri. After a short time, she comes back with a teapot and cookies set atop a tray. Wait just a little longer, if you could. She sets the tray down, this time bringing out a folding table. The archive sure does have everything, huh? Well, if you really think about it, the point of there being beds here is when this stopped being just an ordinary library. Now then, shall we begin our tea time? Yes, I mean, yeah, okay, tea time. The thing Senpai and I we were rolling right back to the prologue in a way. Today, however, is between 3 people. No, any way you slice it, I get the impression that I'm the outsider here and those 2 are having a tea party. Oh my, it's so subdued. I received this tea as a gift. Where are you getting gifts at? Like here in the archive. You literally said nobody visits here. What is this aroma? I'm not too sure myself. I figured as much. I'm unable to find anything to say. I can't even talk about tea. Just like back then. By the way, is it a tad on the late side? How did you learn of this place? You mean the archive? Yes. I backtraced the waterways, estimating that there was a singularity point somewhere near Zenkoji Temple, and from there I did an NSL analysis to triangulate the point. NSL is what again? Oh, you mean that, right? Wow, that's amazing. Without superhuman thinking, you'd be unable to use something like that outright. And this is you saying that? That it is. I am also quite smart. Yes, you are very smart. You all are gonna be this conversation is gonna be way too smart for me. I can tell. Care to take it to competition? I don't believe I stand a chance. That's not surprising. Hime-senpai is wise and very knowledgeable. That said, as you'd expect, when put toe-to-toe with a scientist who left her name in the pages of history, she doesn't really stand a chance. Granted, I'm not sure what it means to be smart. For example, once I claim that I'm as smart as a person who is living much more happily, I'm not very smart at all. In sheer volume of information, I don't feel I would be bested, however. It makes a lot of sense. You, of course, have information, but I also think you're wise. Wise? In what context do you mean? Please give me a definition. How should I put this? You have an ability to assemble logic with knowledge as your base. I know what Senpai is trying to say. I see. That being said, no, I'm not wise. Huh? Are you sure? Hime-chan, yes? You are most likely mistaken. Your so-called wisdom could never become a scale to measure some kind of ability of the human brain. What do you mean by that? What I mean is logic doesn't have a concept of time. Huh? What does she mean? It's because logic has been logic long before and after humans assembled it. It will live on forever. Yeah, like, a thing is always a thing, even if it's not been observed. Like, it's still, if it is a thing, then it exists, even if I've never seen it. I think is what they're going for here. And they are going to spend 20 minutes explaining that concept. I'll give you an example for starters. No! No! Get it away! No! My skin is burning! The doctor pulls out a piece of paper and pen from her lab coat and begins scribbling something. Mathematical equation. Here, a quadratic equation. Try solving it if you would. Don't make me do this. I'll cry. Please, don't be shy. Huh? You want me to solve it? Very well. What could it be? What could it be? It's a quadratic equation, right? I'll solve it in no time. Good, okay, you're gonna do it for me, and I'm gonna sit here and pretend I understand a bit of it. I'm telling y'all, I'm big dummy when it comes to math, okay? I can't. Correct, I did it! Look at me go. By the way, it would it be fair to say that Yotsuba-kun assembled this answer? No, because that is just what the answer would be. He found it. The answer is no. That is because the equation already had an answer well before he solved it. To phrase it another way, he did not birth an answer, he merely found it. The most important part is that this equation will continue to have an answer regardless of whether he solves it or doesn't solve it. It's not just limited to him. Even if all humanity throughout history overlooked this equation and neither saw nor solved it, this equation would have an answer to it. That's kind of difficult. No, it's not. I'm a dummy, and I actually kind of figured out what they were going for there before they started talking about it. Look at me go. Who says 7 in the morning polybrain is dumb? Even if all humanity throughout history overlooked this equation, in the end, has humanity solved every quadratic equation? That's not the case. On the contrary, it doesn't seem like we've seen all of the natural numbers. You're right. However, even so, for whatever reason, I can solve that. No matter what kind of quadratic equation, I can and will. Even if you went to a time in the past where quadratic equations weren't known, or a future where new intelligent life crops up after humanity has been wiped out, once shown this equation, the same answer will come back from it. Meaning, the equation itself must have an answer to it then. Yes, regardless of humanity. But isn't it kind of strange? A quadratic equation is something a human made. A person who doesn't know what a digit is, I don't think they'll be able to solve it. I see. Well, that is true. My apologies. Oh my. My opinion is approved. No objections. She likes me. There's a chance. Doctor, yes? It's not just quadratic equations. Other forms of algebra, logic studies, the same can be said of all forms of mathematics, correct? Yes. Incredible. Senpai seems to find something agreeable. What could this mean? Hime-senpai and the doctor both have minds that are far too complex, and I can't even begin to grasp what they're thinking. Yotsuba-kun, do you know what an equilateral triangle is? Well, I know what that is. An equilateral triangle has and always will be an equilateral triangle. It will forever be an equilateral triangle. Right. It doesn't seem you understand much. You're probably not wrong. There's no concept of time. Yotsuba-kun, what do you think is the most incredible theorem in mathematics? That is a question that I have never been asked in my life. And I will almost guarantee you that I will go my entire life without anybody ever earnestly asking me that question. Well, I don't know if it's incredible, but I remember being really impressed by Euler's formula. Yeah, big old fan of Euler's formula. Yeah, I just love that one, man. It's right up there with like the Slipknot formula and the Linkin Park formula. I don't know why I'm making up formulas and theorems named after new metal bands, but I guess that's where we're at right now since I'm not smart enough to understand math. But here you go. There's that. I don't know if it's incredible, but I remember being very impressed by Euler's formula. Stuff like E and I being -1 is incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it's just absolutely sexy as fuck. Euler's identity, you mean? Huh? Whatever, that's fine. Equation. This beautiful formula has been around forever and will continue to be into eternity, completely independent of Euler-san himself. Isn't that right, Doctor? Yes. Actually, this formula is originally derived from a person further back than Euler, Roger Coates. However, his evidence was insufficient, so Euler-san's name was attached to the formula instead. Hear that? If this formula was something birthed by Euler, then it would have been impossible for this Roger individual to call and lay claim to it decades before, right? She seems kind of elated to be telling me this. In other words, he didn't birth it. He simply found it. You are indeed a wise one, Hime-chan. Oh, I mean wise in a normal sense here. Mathematics is the name we know this logic by. Logic. I guess we'll go with mathematics. What I'm saying is that mathematics has been mathematics long, long before the dawn of mankind. It'll also be mathematics forevermore, even after the fall of mankind. Not if I have my way and I finally get a chance to destroy the world. It's incredible. Right. Now it makes sense. It does, kind of. It does make sense. I just think they spent maybe a little bit more of a roundabout way of saying what I said before. But, yeah, no, look, visual novels and authors, it's a passion project. They always gotta flex their smarts at you sometime. I start to get what she's saying. In other words, yeah, it's incredible, right? We did not draw the map known as mathematics. We simply paid so that we could see the dust-covered map proper. The doctor's extra push for good measure furthers my understanding. Is it something like digging up fossils? It's not as though they're giving form to something that is formless, but they're finding something that had form to begin with. Or perhaps finding the Akashic phone was an act similar to this as well. Doctor, this is incredible. It is incredible, isn't it? Doctor, I want to know more and more. I want to know it all. I want to learn everything. I want to know everyone. There's a song that goes like that, but that is not the lyrics. I don't remember it. It's a Nine Inch Nails song. He wants to do something that matters, though. I want to learn everything and become like you, Doctor. She is like a sincere and pure child. Just like a child. That is weird. Okay. Okay, I'll let that lay. I can feel the wind blowing. The doctor rises from her seat, holding her black tea, and sips the rest down. I would not recommend you do that. The air is getting pretty thick. Though, I am currently appointed as the librarian here, albeit an imperfect one. Supporting a user's intellectual pursuit is my job. The fear of losing your restraint and being let free might assault you. The concept of time on the other side is even more diluted than here. If you're okay with that, come with me, will you? Yes, ma'am. Oh dear, so I guess Hime is just going to be the new librarian? Is that what's going to happen? Is she just going to replace CS? Wait, if CS can leave, that means I can go date CS, right? Is that what's going on here? Then the two make rapid movements. As they get worn out, they go off somewhere else. While it's unclear whether any of that is ultimately necessary, they don't even say goodbye. I've been left behind. I don't know what to do with myself, so I randomly touch my uncharged, squishy smart tool. I sure wish I had a charger. In any case, since it would be a waste to leave all these cookies and tea here, and since I'm hungry, I decide to partake. These cookies and tea have a very mysterious scent and flavor, and I've never tasted before. Yeah, it's really good. Thinking about it, I suppose not even a week has passed since I received those 99 emails in my inbox. I reunite with that girl. I give up on that girl. Did I make the right decision? I don't expect to ever know that answer. I know. Maybe. She makes no footsteps. Dr. CS, this person really does show up out of nowhere. It's up to you to decide whether your decision was right or not. But in terms of learning about the circumstances, learning about what circumstances come from your decision, that is something I can do. How would I do that? I have a database that has all phenomena that could occur in this world logged into it. Logged in. What? It's another archive. What? Care to take a peek? You have a whole other ass archive? What the fuck? I mean, I guess that makes sense, seeing as how, like, we're in mentality land and just, like, you know, all of this stray shit gets flung here. I suppose all those possibilities would end up here, wouldn't they? No, I'm gonna have to respectfully decline. Are you sure? I'm the kind of coward that's too afraid to even disclose how many points I got during a test, much less the results of this kind of decision. Unlike Hime-chan, you do not seem to have much interest in learning, do you? That's an understatement. In comparison to Senpai, it's next to nothing. The way you say that makes it seem like you have a passing interest. Well, a passing interest would work, right? Although, I'm afraid. The eyes of others frighten me, since I don't know what they're thinking after all. Knowing that frightens me tremendously. Is that so? I can sympathize extremely well. My apologies for being a busybody. Sorry for that. It's okay. I'm just a coward. Oh, right. Besides that, Doctor, do you happen to have a smartphone charger? A smart tool charger? Masako's batteries died, and I don't have a smart tool. Oh. But just wait a minute. But just wait there a minute. I think it's in there. Or should I say it's there? However, in this situation, what should I do? To put it simply, it's the same quandary as to whether or not it's safe to let a complete stranger who just wants to use your bathroom in your house to use a phone charger. I think you're overthinking this a little bit. I've let people use a phone charger before, and I never wondered if they were going to pee on it. Although, come to think of it, maybe somebody has peed on my phone charger, and I just don't know. How much longer do you plan to stay here? Well, do you feel it's not your place to decide? Yes, ma'am. I understand. Well then, in regards to that charger, would it be okay to put that on hold until she returns? Still, I would not mind at all if you were to walk around in search of a charger on your own while I'm away from the area. Understood. What a shame. Can't be helped, though. You have my apologies. Huh? Is something the matter? I'm not too sure, but Hime-senpai is coming back, right? She leads a fleeting existence. Huh? I'm sure she'll be back soon. Humans do not know how to learn. No matter how much they realize fear, they will forget it immediately. It's such a foolish existence. It's like a prison. The doctor may have said that, but Senpai still hasn't come back. Masako isn't moving, of course. The only thing functioning in this space is me and me alone. Ultimately, when Senpai is gone, I'm not really capable of anything. Pretty much. The table is still left out, so I try going underneath it. We're just going to hide under the table? It's dark. I'm not too sure what I'm even doing. But I want to get underneath something like this for whatever reason. What? Can you see the table? Huh? Upon closer inspection, there is something written on the underside. Can you see the table? What do you mean? Whatever, I'm not too sure. It's time I try looking above the table. There is something written here, too. On the bottom of the cookie basket. On the bottom of the teapot. The bottom of the teapot. Ah, there is something written here, too. Donut. Huh? I don't know why that would be there. How anticlimactic. It was weird before too, but on the bottom of the teapot it says donut. This, despite the fact that the sweets had been despite the fact that the sweets we had were cookies. Going off this, there should be something written on a piece of paper I used earlier too. Is what I think, but I find nothing. All there is written is the doctor's equation and my answer. What was it we were talking about again? An equilateral triangle will stay an equilateral triangle now and forever or something. Well, it goes without even saying, but this can hardly be called an equilateral triangle. I'm bad at drawing straight lines. I feel that! How do artists do it, man? I'm by myself, indifferent to my surroundings, when that aroma skims past my nostrils suddenly. It's an elegant floral scent. Hello! Oh, you're back! How's it going? Senpai? Senpai, earlier, the doctor and I... Yo, did you lose your concept of time again? What could have happened to her? No sooner than Senpai had reached her bed did she dive into the sheets. Is she going to sleep already? I have no way of finding out what the right time is, since Masako's battery is dead. Unlike back then when we lost our concept of time, it would seem that my internal clock is working just fine this time around. It might not be such an odd hour to be winding down to go to bed. Today I feel more than a fair share of fatigue, mostly of the mental variety. The shape Senpai is in is making me worry, but in the meantime, I'll get some rest, wake up, and ask what our next move is. Tomorrow is another day. In my slumber, I awaken for a split second. Hello. Senpai seems to be sitting on the bed. She's already awake? I'm so drowsy I can't really be sure. Just like when she made her way back here, she was mentally in another world. I soon fall asleep once more. I open my eyes. Oh, are you still going through it over here? Yeah, you look like you are still in the middle of it. Senpai sits on the bed in the same state. If my memories of last night are true, then Senpai must have been sitting like that the entire time since then. In any case, I awaken deciding to ask her about a charger in our next move. Hey, Senpai! Senpai remains absent, not moving her body a single solitary inch. As expected, there's not much of a conversation to be had, so I walk over to Senpai's bed. That is when... So I'll spare you the details. They boned, and in typical visual novel fashion, it was just a bad sex scene. Sex scenes in visual novels are typically bad, I find. They always come across as really unsexy and mechanical. Like, it's just all about the act of getting there, and there's really not a lot of focus on, like, the people's enjoyment of sex or any real dynamics to it, or... like any kind of actual like it just doesn't seem like anybody involved is enjoying it. Everybody seems like they're going to regret it in the end, and it's just like, we are robots doing a robot thing. There are very few, like, I could probably count on one hand the number of sex scenes I've seen in a visual novel that I felt were genuinely titillating, and 2 of them didn't even actually involve really, like, having sex. It was more of just, like, an implied situation and, a very specific thing that kind of brought a moment to like, an arousing level. But yeah, in general, I just think that, like, either most visual novel writers have never had sex and are just kind of like watching porn videos and describing it mechanically, or like for some reason that's just something that they all really just suck at, or they have to write it in this specific mechanical way so that a player can project onto it or something. I don't know. Anyway, weird tangent, I know, for something that we didn't even show. But hey, there's my opinion on sex scenes in visual novels, if you were ever curious. Please do not know how to learn. Excuse me? No matter how much they realize fear, they will forget it immediately. Such a foolish existence. To be continued. Please stop searching. Huh. Okay. Oh God, what's this mess? Uh-oh. The meaningless Alice moves not. Oh jeez, I don't even know what we're getting into next time, but this looks like a fun little clusterfuck, doesn't it? All right, so we'll jump into this the next time we're together and hopefully find out what's going on with this girl. Maybe get her back in the right mindset. We will talk to you next time. Bye.